Hi, I'm Christy. Welcome to the Coven, or welcome back if you've been here before. Today I have a little say my name spell tutorial for you. So if you're on Witch Talk, you will see everybody talking about word your name, you've got to word your name, blah blah blah, word your name, word your name, word your name, word your name. And I thought that it would be a fun little spell to do and a fun little spell to show everyone else how to do. So people have been calling this different things. I seen somebody the other day calling it the slag me rotten spell, which I thought was really funny, but I don't want to call mine that because I'm sensitive, so please don't slag me rotten. But if you do, so I'm going to get trapped in here. I'm going to call mine the say my name spell, but you could also go for a funny angle and call it something like the anytime anyone speaks my name I become funnier and hotter spell or something like that. The name doesn't really matter. Essentially what we're doing here is we are doing a little transmutation magic where we are capturing the energy that comes from when people speak about us. This can either be through gossip, ill intent, malicious intent, talking badly about you, any of that. We are calling in that energy, trapping it in somewhere, transmuting the energy, and then using it for our benefit, essentially. So it is obviously really shit when somebody talks badly of you, however, it kind of is unavoidable in the world. And this is kind of like a way of reclaiming your power. In my eyes, if that energy is being given to you, then it is your energy to do with whatever it is that you want to do with it. And before we get into the spell, we have a sponsor. Who is the sponsor, might you ask? It is myself and my small business. I have a small business called From Chaos to Cosmos. So currently in my business, I am offering tarot readings and yoga classes. I'm hoping to soon expand to energy work. I have something really cool that I've been working on. And then towards the end of the year, I will be offering astrology services as well. Right now, you can book in with me for tarot readings available on Zoom. So wherever you are in the world, you can still get a reading from me. And I actually have a little Gemini season special going on at the moment. I was actually mid mercurial ritual, so I was doing a little ritual for the sun entering Gemini, and it was during this that I had the big brain light bulb idea that I wanted I had the idea that I wanted to do this Gemini season special offer. So for this, 2 people come together, get both readings together, you both get separate readings, but it's kind of fun to be able to do it either with your partner, with your friend, with your mum, whoever it is that you want to do it with. Maybe you're entering a business with someone and you both want to come in and get little tarot readings together. And I am doing this for the very low price of £33 for both people. And honestly, that's just what Mercury told me to do. The idea fell into my brain from Mercury, so who am I to argue with Messenger of the Gods? Aside from services, I do have free offerings over on the From Chaos to Cosmos YouTube channel. So I post things for the new moon, the full moon, and I post things for every new astrological season. I also do little meditations, manifestation stuff over there. So the last video that I posted is a walking spell, and essentially that is a transmutation spell as well. So we are using the energy harnessed during our walk and kind of alchemizing it and sending it off towards our goals for manifestation. So I will leave the link for all of that down below if you want to check that out. And without further ado, let's get into the spell. So for this spell, you honestly can just kind of make it work for you. This is just how I've decided to do it. So you can either copy this exactly verbatim, or you can kind of make it your own. Honestly, don't just do something that somebody else tells you to do in a practice if it doesn't feel right for you, or if you don't have a particular ingredient or something. Don't feel like then you can't do that spell. You can always substitute it. And then if your intention for the energy is different than mine, you might want to use different herbs. So my intention is that I am taking the energy of someone speaking about me and I am transmuting it into the energy of success and good fortune. So you can do this with anything that you want to do it with. Maybe you want to transmute it into love, maybe you want to transmute it into money, maybe you want to transmute it into self-love, friendship, anything like that. So the herbs that I have used are kind of directly correlated with success and good fortune. So you might want to use the protection herbs the same and then change maybe the herbs in the crystal for your specific intention. When I kind of get into the spell, this will make a little bit more sense. If you feel confused or you want any kind of ideas on different herbs you can use or how you can make it work for you, comment and I will reply to everyone, letting them know what my kind of thoughts and stuff are. And I've got my little grimoire here. This is actually a new one that I just started. Cool. So with any spell, the first thing that I do is get like a very clear intention in my brain. So my intention for this one exactly is, when someone speaks my name or speaks of or shares my online usernames with ill intent, mockery, hate, harm or gossip, this energy does not reach me. Instead, this energy is absorbed into the spell jar and transmuted into the energy of success and good fortune for me. So from that intention, that is where I wanted to start thinking about what herbs I wanted to use. So for me, I wanted protection and cleansing herbs that's going to draw in and cleanse the energy. So for that, I have decided to use salt, tobacco and rosemary. For the actual transmutation, I have used mugwort. And then once that energy is transmuted, for the success and good fortune, I have used basil, cinnamon and calendula. Alongside your herbs, you are going to want 2 crystals. So you're going to want a protective crystal to absorb and draw in the negative energy. For me, I have chosen black tourmaline. And then you're going to want a crystal that holds on to the transmuted energy. So you're going to want to choose a crystal based on your intention for the spell. So for me, I have went for a citrine crystal. This is also known as like a merchant stone, really good for like good fortune, abundance, success, that kind of sunshine, happy energy, all of that. So that's my 2 crystals. You're also going to need a small piece of paper and a pen, and you're going to need a taglock. So for this, it can be, I have a chunk of my hair. You can use like saliva, nail clippings, really anything that kind of is a part of you. I like things like hair and stuff like that because I don't want like saliva in the sealed jar, just because I don't want anything wet going in there and it creating like a very mouldy, disgusting environment. What you could do is you could like anoint like your saliva on the piece of paper and then let it dry before putting it in the jar if you don't want to use your hair or you don't have hair or something like that. But again, like nail clippings or anything is going to work as well. And then in things like traditional witch bottles, it would typically be like piss that would be in it. But I really don't want like a jar of pee sitting on my altar, honestly. Maybe one day, I don't know, never say never. And I have actually forgot that I do not have my bit of paper or my tobacco, so I will be right back. Alright, so I have my piece of paper. So on here, what I have is my name and then all of my online usernames in the centre. And then round the outside, I have wrote all of the things that is kind of protecting me. So, or like, that I'm kind of like encircled by is how I'm envisioning it. So for me, that's the things that I'm attracting into my life. So I've wrote things like success, positivity, joy, good fortune, and I almost see that as like a barrier that's surrounding me. So this kind of barrier of good energy is stopping any of the negative energy actually getting into me, because it's wrote around in a circle around me and around my online usernames. So the first thing that I've done is I have cleansed my items. So I've already pre-done this. Do this in any way that you like to do it. You can do it with smoke cleansing, you can do it with any kind of spiritual colognes or spiritual waters, you can do it with smoke, you can do it with intention. If you do it with like water, like physically cleaning something, just make sure that the inside of the jar is dry, and also make sure that you use dry herbs as well, because like I said about like the spit situation, like I want to be able to just kind of keep this going for as long as possible, so I don't want like any like moldy shit in it. Cool, and then really we are ready to get on with the spell. So the first thing I'm going to add into here is some salt. So this is just the salt that I have to hand. It's like my literal like fine sea salt here. So again, use what you've got. I'm going to place it into my hands. So I prefer to like actually like hold the ingredients that I'm using and really speak my intention into them. So essentially I call upon the spirit of the ingredient that I'm using and I tell it what I want it to do in this working. So again, I have all this wrote out before I do it, because I don't want to be like umming and ahhing when I'm doing my spell. I want the intention to be there and to be really, really clear in why I'm using every ingredient and what I'm using it for. So for the salt, I am using this specifically to cleanse and purify any energy that enters the jar, and I'm also calling upon it to protect me. Then I will add it into the jar. Okay, I think I'm going to actually have to just take the L here and attach my mic to myself, because as much as I love the emotional support bunny, it's actually quite hard to keep her on my knee while I'm doing this. I need to have my hands free. Cool. And then I have tobacco. Who knew that the drunk cigarettes that I bought were going to come in so handy? Me, because I use them in spell work all the time. So tobacco is really good for dominating energy, so that is what I'm really calling on this for. I'm calling on it to really kind of act as like an overpowering force for the negative energy that comes into the jar. It dominates it so that it can then be transmuted. I'm going to pour this out onto my hand, and then I will speak my intention into it before adding it into the jar. So then I have rosemary. So rosemary is really good at kind of drawing in and holding on to energy, but it's also really cleansing and protective as well. And now what I like to do, now my 3 protective ingredients are in here, I like to tell them how they're working together. So, spirit of salt, spirit of tobacco, and spirit of rosemary. You work together to draw in, protect, dominate, and cleanse. And then I have mugwort. So mugwort is really, really good for transmuting energy. It's really like ethereal. So mugwort is used for like a lot of dream work, psychic work. It kind of uncovers what is like beyond the veil, but it also really helps to kind of like obscure things, and it's really good for like confusing energy and like changing energy. So I like to use it in a lot of transmutation workings. Actually, I use mugwort a lot. It's probably like one of my most used herbs alongside rose, rosemary, and lavender. Like I use them literally all the time. I call upon the spirit of mugwort to aid me in this working. Okay, and now is the time to add your little petition or whatever it is that you want to call it, the thing with like your name on it and then everything surrounding that. I've just cut mine into this circle shape so that it can fit like on top of the jar, like on like so it can fit in this jar. I might need to squeeze it a little bit, but that's fine. So I've kind of sat it like that, so there's like a little base between the kind of cleansing herbs and then my little petition thing here. Then to tie this to me, I am adding in my chunk of hair. There we go. And now my little petition and my hair is in there. I'm going to re-speak my intention to it and just reaffirm what it's doing in there. When someone speaks of me or my online presence with ill intent, mockery, hate, harm, or gossip, this energy does not come to me. Instead, this energy is absorbed into this spell jar and transmuted into the energy of success and good fortune for me. Then I'm adding in my black tourmaline crystal, so the crystal that's going to help to absorb in all that negative energy. Again, just like everything else, before I put it in, I am telling it what its purpose in this working is. It is your purpose in this working to absorb. So while I was telling the crystal kind of what its job is, that also included telling it that once the energy has been transmuted, it's okay for it to let go of that energy and send it into the citrine crystal. Again, at the end, I'm going to reaffirm this to everything. I just like to be really clear and really specific when I'm transmuting energy from one thing into another. I have another jar that's more like typical. It's more general, I guess. It's more like absorbing in a certain type of energy and then cleansing it into a neutral energy. So I only have one crystal in there with a load of herbs, because that one quartz crystal I see as being able to help to kind of transmute and shift that along with the herbs itself. But with this, it's a little bit different. So because I'm actually trying to get a specific intention out of it, that's why I'm being so clear in making sure that the herbs and the crystals all know how to work together. So now I have that in there. I am once again going to put mugwort on top. So we had mugwort right under our petition, and I'm going to put mugwort right on top of my petition again, telling it exactly what I want from it. And the reason that I'm adding mugwort twice is because it is really good for shifting and changing that energy, and that's really what I want to happen at this stage of the spell. And then we're on to like our fun good time herbs. So I have basil. So basil's really good for like fortune, luck, money, wealth. It's also used in love working, so it's really good for harmony as well. And that's what I'm going to be using it for today. And then cinnamon, which I'm sure everyone already knows a fair bit about cinnamon. It's really good for prosperity, success, abundance, all of that. And then I have here some calendula or marigold, whatever you want to call it. So marigold is really good for, again, it's good for like joy, happiness, success, ambition. It's really linked to the sun, so it's got that real like positive, radiant sunshine energy to it. And to me, it just smells so fucking incredible. Something about the smell of it is so nice. Oh. And then again, just like I did with like the protection herbs, I am now telling these herbs how they work together. Spirit of basil, cinnamon, and calendula. You work together to create good fortune, success, and joy. And then I have my citrine crystal. So again, I'm telling this that once the energy is being cleansed, this can take in the energy and hold on to that successful good fortune energy. And then just popping that right on top. So this is how my jar is looking. So before I close this over, I am just going to once again tell it how it works, and I'm going to tell it how I'm going to use and utilize this energy. So for this, again, I am reaffirming its purpose, telling everything what it's doing and how it's working together, telling it that the positive energy will be held inside the citrine crystal until I am ready to release it and use it. I'm going to tell it how I am going to release it and use it, which is by every time I burn a candle on top of it. That is how I am going to release this energy. And I am also going to say a specific incantation, which I am not going to share online. So as much as even like when I'm doing like spell tutorials and stuff, I actually want to use this. So I am telling you like all the information that you need to be able to do this on your own. But I do think it's really important, especially with like protection workings and stuff, that you don't share every single aspect of what you're doing. Just because it's quite personal, and then I feel like it keeps it a bit more safe if people don't know like the exact words that I'm using and exactly how I'm like invoking this energy, how I'm drawing the energy out, how I'm sending the energy out, like the exact wording and stuff. But like that's kind of the information that you need to know. You tell the jar its entire purpose, you reaffirm to the herbs and the crystals what their purpose are, and then you tell it that it is going to hold on to this positive energy, and you tell it how it is going to release that positive energy. I have also added in as well that each time I use the energy that's contained, the spell is re-energized and recharged. Say my name, spell jar. I wake you up. I give you life. You work for me. This is your purpose. And then this is our spell jar here. Looks a little bit rank because you can see my hair in it. So what I'm going to do now, I mean, you could just leave it here if you wanted to just leave it here. Again, I just like for these like long-term workings, like, yes, I'm planning on like bringing energy out of it often, but ideally I want the actual jar itself to work as long as possible. So I just like to put way more effort in at the beginning so that then I know that it's going to be really good to go for a long time to come, if that makes sense. So essentially what I am going to do now is I am going to take a black candle and I am going to put the black candle on top here. So and I'm going to light the candle and tell the candle and the jar, this black candle here represents the absorption of negative energy entering into the jar. And then once this candle is burned all the way down, I am going to do the exact same thing with a white candle, and I am going to tell the white candle that this candle represents the transmutation of this energy. Once then the white candle has entirely burned down, I am going to seal off my spell by saying a thank you to all of the allies that I've used today, including the spirits of the herbs, the crystals, and everything that went into this working. Sorry, my camera cut off there because it was like really, really hot. So I think I says I'm going to do this candle. This represents the negative energy entering. This represents the transmutation of that energy. Then I am going to, once that candle's entirely burned down, I am going to thank all the allies that I have used today that have helped me put this spell together. I am then going to tell the spell that it is fully charged and ready to use, and then finish with my sealing phrase, which I will probably be so mote it be and so it is, because that's normally what I say. And then the candle, then the spell jar will sit on my altar and I will use it periodically. You could, if you feel like you're getting like a lot of like shit spoke about you, you could really be doing this every single week and like releasing the energy of your intention by like putting a candle on it and being like, I release this energy, this like good fortune, success, visibility, love, happiness, joy, whatever it is that you're drawing into your life is now released. You could definitely do that like once a week. Or you could use this as part of like a more kind of specific spell, like a broader spell. For instance, say mine is for like success and good fortune. If, for instance, I am doing a spell for my business, I might want to like get this jar in and kind of release the energy at the same time as I'm doing this other spell, and it kind of like empowers that spell there. If you're doing like a love spell and your intention was to draw more love into your life, you could do the same thing there. Whatever it is, it's really kind of like versatile from here on out. And again, you can really change anything that I have done to suit you. This is just the particular way that I have decided to do it. I have seen people doing much more simple versions of this online, and they've said that it really, really works for them. So again, do what really, really works for you. For me and how my Virgo brain works, I just like to be quite methodical with it, which is why I've got like my protection herbs, my transmutation herbs, my petition, my hair, my 2 crystals, my success herbs, the candles. Like, I just like to be like a lot more specific with it, especially because it's going to be more of a long-term working for me. I plan to use this I guess whenever I kind of feel like the energy of it, like people has been like talking about me or whatever. Hopefully I don't need to use it too often, because hopefully people don't be saying bad shit about me too often. But I also think it's like a really fun way to kind of like reclaim your power. So I would be super interested to hear if you followed along with this, what you are doing your transmutation spell for. And again, if you want any advice or anything like that, you can of course let me know. If you want more from me, please do subscribe. It really does mean a lot as a small creator. Every single like, every single follow, every single comment is like a true little celebration to me, and it really does mean everything. If you want to know more about my witchy offerings that I do, check out From Chaos to Cosmos on Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. I will leave the links to everything down below. And until next time, bye!